I want to talk about the big story of the week is the White House numbers. I think it was 17 million total viewers in the States. How excited and happy are you with those numbers? I know Paramount are very happy, but you personally, how happy are you with those?
Yeah, I mean, a third of their subscribers tuned into the, it was huge. And the global number's massive. So that's going to come out next week. That's the biggest thing that we've ever done. And obviously the biggest thing ever for the sport. And, my job, I've been saying this since the end of the ESPN deal, my job is to deliver for Paramount. And boy, have we delivered in 6 months. I mean, a lot of the stuff, we've just been quiet. We let them announce. And then, some of these markets that we're still in are pay-per-view. So you got to go through all the pay-per-view stuff and everything else. But the global number will probably come out next week.
I know you're not going to tell me, but how much bigger is the global number than the state number?
Yeah, there's two problems. We're a public company, and Paramount is a public company. And there's so many massive wins from that night, but I can't talk about any of them because they influence stock movement. So there's so much stuff we can't tell. I'm telling you, just watch what happens. This is like what I said with boxing. Judge us January, 2027 on the body of work we do this year. Wait till you see what we do over the next 2 years. It's just like, and I had a guy come up to me that night after we did the press conference, and basically, what do you have to say about Eddie Hearn? And I said, we are not the same, okay? And let me just put it this way. From here on out, with all the media, I'm not going to say anything about any of these other. We are not the same.
There is probably not a better way to follow the White House than with the Conor McGregor return. Do you expect to see similar numbers at that card as you did at the White House?
You guys know how much I love to win and gloat, and I can't do that anymore. There's so much shit I would love to drop on you right now, but you'll see it playing out over, the next year, earnings calls and fucking all this shit. So this will all play out, and I just have to, just keep doing what I'm doing and
stay quiet.
Stay quiet. Just grind.
Yeah. Alex Pereira has come out complaining about Herb Dean and the strikes to the back of the head. It's kind of a hard one to talk about, but it seems like now every time Ciryl Gane fights, we're kind of talking about some illegal strikes and some fouls after the fact. I'm not saying he's a dirty fighter, but do you think the next time he fights, a referee has to be like, the moment this guy does something, point?
I think every time everybody fights, the referee should be watching everything that happens. And I say it all the time, and I'll say it again. No reffing anywhere is perfect. And it could be an NBA game, could be an NFL game. Definitely some fights. It's never going to be perfect.
You don't feel like there's something with Ciryl, or is it just like, look, this is a chaotic sport and it happens?
Well, I also think that if you watch the fight, it's undeniable that he got hit with some strikes to the back of the head. But in the middle of the action, when it's going on and guys are rolling around trying to get out of it, sometimes some fouls happen, and maybe Dean should have said, hey, watch the back of the head, or, warned him or something like that. But, I don't know.
Yeah. Two more quick ones from me. Have you reached out?
I can tell you this. Alex Pereira is not a whiner. And Alex Pereira doesn't complain about things or make excuses, after fights. So I have to believe that he believed that he truly believed that was true.
Have you guys reached out to Tom Aspinall yet about maybe booking that fight with Ciryl?
I'm not going to talk about that stuff. I'll tell you something that's funny, though. So AJ just signed with CAA for sponsorship and all that kind of stuff. Doesn't Eddie Hearn have a fucking... Isn't that what he does? Aspinall signs with Eddie Hearn, which is insane. AJ, who's been with him forever, and they're probably best friends, Signs with CAA.
Okay.
I'll have to.
Did you see Herb Dean was also very quick to respond to Alex Pereira's kind of complaints about the back of the shot heads? Did you see the video that Herb had put out?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I really don't have any thoughts on it. That's something that they'll have to work out with the commission, and not my area. Listen, like I said it. Here's what I can tell you: that Alex Pereira is not a whiner, man. That guy doesn't ever complain about anything or whatever. So you have to believe if he's that serious about it, he's upset about it, and he believes it to be true.
You guys teased the rankings are coming out. The new rankings are coming out on Monday. Is there anything that you could tell us or tease about what's new?
Hopefully they work. Hopefully they're, But yeah, they come out Monday. We have all the details and everything you need to know about them will hit on Monday.
And I don't know if you can answer this or what, but like, obviously AI is going to play a big part in this. But like, is there some point that where like stats and results can only do the rankings so much? Don't you need like an actual person to watch a fight to give their opinion on a ranking?
Yeah. So I'm going to have both. I'm still going to do human, non-human, however you want to look at it, rankings. And I think that neither will be perfect, but, it'll get us closer. And I actually, the rankings that are going to come out on Monday, I think, make a lot more sense. I think you're going to have a lot of people who are going to complain and argue and go, oh, this isn't fair, that's not right, and this isn't. We'll see how it plays out over the first year. No.
When you talk about the new rankings, right, you say that the human rankings will still, be up and running. So when it comes to matchmaking, what will you consider more? The new rankings or the human rankings, or do you find a balance?
Well, I think you take them all into consideration. I mean, so the AI model will have its opinion on what the rankings are. The media side will have their opinion on what the rankings are. You personally will have your opinion. She will have an opinion. Everybody will have an opinion. At the end of the day, what our job is in this business is to put on fights that people want to see. And, you have to have rankings, otherwise it's just a free-for-all. And one of the things that I love about this sport is there's no sanctioning body saying, oh, this is a mandatory you and you. The fans are the sanctioning body, as it should be. The fans determine who fights who. So if anything, I think this thing, won't hurt. It'll just help.
Sure. And something else that stood out to me this week was Trevor Whitman on Joe Rogan Experience said that Hunter Campbell reached out to him regarding his gloves and maybe exploring the potential of implementing them here in the UFC. So is that something?
We've been talking to Trevor for years. Rashad Evans, whom I love and respect, came to me and said, hey, listen, I'm invested in this thing. We think that we have a great product here, and I would love to, introduce our glove to that Trevor built. All those guys, like Trevor's a genius. He makes these bags and his gloves. So we looked at it all, and I literally told my finance team, get this deal done. Care what it takes. Get the deal done. They wanted like $100 million for the glove. How many fucking gloves you got to sell to make $100 million? It's impossible. So the deal never happened, but I told my team, and Denny, the girl who runs that department, is a brilliant woman. Brilliant. She came back to me like cross-eyed, like, I can't get a deal done with these guys. So I was already, that deal should have been done a few years ago. I wanted to do that for Rashad. So we'll see.
Are you confident that you'll find maybe some common ground with this one now?
I am not confident at all.
Last one for me. Another thing that stood out to me was Conor McGregor. He talked about, obviously everyone's excited for his return. He talked about July being his first date, and then he talked about April being his second date, and he just kind of was asking why.
What's the question? What was the dates?
He said that he's going to have two fights, obviously the one we know in July, and then April of 2027. He was just kind of curious as to why.
I don't even know. Listen, let's get through this one first, and then we'll figure out when the next one is. You know, to even be talking about his second fight without even having the first fight. This is like when I'm on the internet and they're like, this fight sucks this weekend. How the fuck do you know this fight sucks? Saturday night at midnight, text me and tell me the fight sucked. So who knows? Let's see how this fight plays out.